All right, guys, see if I can keep this under 4 minutes. This thing keeps coming up, about Scottie Pippen and stuff like this. I told you guys how I felt about Scottie Pippen. I think he's one of the top 50 NBA players of all time, and top 50 speaks for itself. The thing about Scottie is that you hear a lot of the former teammates talk about how good of a teammate he was in the locker room. Now, the reason I turned on this video, guys, is that growing up watching the Bulls and hearing all the riffraff about Scottie Pippen, I understand that he's looked at as weak for a few reasons. People, for some reason, like to trash Pippen. They're saying that he's saying things about, Phil Jackson, Michael Jordan coming out with a book. They say, he's like, one thing this is just my opinion. I don't think he's doing that by himself. Somebody, if Scottie Pippen comes out with a book talking about Phil Jackson in a negative light, or Michael Jordan, or whoever, somebody is interested in hearing that. Remember, you only give people what they want. And there's always two sides to a story. And whether we're looking at Scottie Pippen and his faults, or we're looking at anybody, I'm telling you, if you take out a magnifying glass and put it on anybody, they will be suspect. They can be. That's why I don't like when people try to raise me up, only because it's not a fear, but just as much as somebody raises you up, they can kick the chair beneath you and take you back down. So I can never get caught up. My thing is this. Look, man, when you talk about making money, man, it's like, again, you only give the people what they want. Whether Scottie really believes all this negative stuff about Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan, I doubt it. I'm pretty sure that he has mutual respect for Phil Jackson and Scottie Pippen, but somebody wants to hear the truth, right? That's why Scottie writes the book. I don't think it's all Scottie. It never is. Somebody wants to hear the other side of the story. With every light side, there's a dark side. And that's why I try to be transparent with you guys about who I am as an individual is the best way I possibly can. What I have to come up with a YouTube channel that's rated X or rated R or something like that. I don't want to appear to be this perfect person, but the reason, again, guys, I don't want to be long. The reason I turned on this video is that one thing I know for sure now is that people are not looking for the best teammate. You can talk about Clyde Drexler, great guy in the locker room, great teammates. Talk about Scottie Pippen, great guy in the locker room, great teammate. But it's like people don't want the best teammate. They want somebody who has like a God-like figure, somebody that they can be like, somebody that they can look up to, somebody that they can inspire to be like. They're not looking for the best teammate. That's what I turned on this video for. No matter where you go, if you go to a job, if you get on a basketball team, they preach to you about being a good teammate. But that's not what people really want. They want like this godlike type figure. It's like something about a godlike figure like Michael Jordan. It just energizes you to get up the next day and do what you have to do with yourself. I mean, even when I look at Jordan, I told you guys about how I felt like I said because Jordan was out there flying around, that's why I got in the gym and started flying around and I started dunking. You think that didn't have something to do with me watching Michael Jordan growing up and looking at him like a godlike figure? Of course it did. The best teammate probably wouldn't have gave me that much juice as a godlike figure would. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this out, guys. I just want to say a few words about that. But people, they're not looking for the best teammate. We're not talking about narcissism. A godlike figure doesn't mean you have to be a narcissist. You have to, you got to exemplify qualities that are extraordinary. That's the only way people gonna look up to you, man. They're not looking for the best teammate.